So welcome to Newark Liberty National Airport in our award-winning Terminal A. My name is Aidan O'Donnell. I'm the General Manager for New Jersey Airports with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And it really is a privilege to welcome so many of you here today. I'd like to acknowledge our Port Authority leadership that's here. We've got Chairman Kevin O'Toole, Vice Chairman Jeffrey Linford, Commissioner and Mayor of Elizabeth, Chris Bolwich. And then we've got guests Tondra Linford, the Chair of the Anderson Center International, and Eliza Bozensky, the Chief Development Officer for the Anderson Center for Autism, as well as our federal partners, our airline partners, our partners from Munich Airports, New Jersey, who operate Terminal A, and then my team here at the Port Authority. We really do appreciate everybody coming out to support it. Today's a very special occasion as we're celebrating the opening of our new meditation room and our post-security sensory room in Terminal A. Both of these spaces are part of the Port Authority's ongoing commitment to enhancing the passenger's experience and creating a more inclusive environment for everyone. In 2023, Port Authority leadership and our partners gathered in this terminal to announce the opening of our first sensory room, which is located pre-security. And this room has become an invaluable resource for many, especially neurodivergent travelers looking for a quiet space along with their family and caregivers before they embark on their journey. I'd like to recognize the commitment and leadership of several people at the Port Authority, notably Chairman O'Toole, our Board of Commissioners, Executive Director Rick Codden, our Chief Operating Officer Jim Heitman, and our Aviation Director Sarah McKeon, all of whom remain focused on ensuring that our airports are spaces where everyone is welcome and where those who require additional support have space where they can be as comfortable as possible before they leave on their journey. This commitment has reflected in new facilities and amenities that we continue to integrate into our terminals, like the ones we're here to open today. Whether it's providing a peaceful space for meditation and prayer, a private room for mothers to nurse, service animal relief areas, or sensory rooms to help with neurodivergent passengers rehearse and experience the flight process, as we're gonna go see later when we go over to the other room. We're always thinking about creative ways that we can make our airports inclusive and comfortable for everybody. Today's opening is a testament to the incredible work of leadership, our team, and our partners. Their dedication ensures that passengers of all needs, backgrounds, and experiences feel welcome, valued, and supported throughout their journey. I'm incredibly proud to be a part of this team and would like to thank everyone who has contributed to making today a success. I'd now like to welcome to the podium the Chairman of the Port Authority's Board of Commissioners, Kevin O'Toole.
Good morning. First of all, Aidan, wonderful job. To the Port Authority family, thank you very much. It's the little things that we do that make the difference. And I think when you put a face to a cause, it becomes more personal. A couple of things. So this morning I came here and I was walking around and we saw three men right outside this building. They were praying on a rug in the open floor. And they were told that in a short amount of time they'd have a meditation room. And they said, "I can't believe you're thinking of us." In the TSA, we had a special woman, 39-year-old Lauren, this morning, muscular dystrophy, who was hooked up to a ventilator, specialized wheelchair, and the Port Authority staff, JetBlue, TSA, made an amazing effort to get her through a very chaotic time in getting her on the airplane and getting her situated with her ventilator. We're here because of the vision that you have, Jeff. We talked about this years ago about servicing folks that others have overlooked. And when Jeff and I talked on the board, and we've been doing this, Jeff, for 8 years now, and you're a hell of a partner and a hell of a friend, you talked about the folks who, with autism, that have special needs. You talked about Dylan. So with that, Tondra, we talked about having that room pre-security in Dylan's name. You folks came over and you worked with the Anderson Center to personalize it and to make it so special. And when you go to that room, you're like, wow, how come others haven't thought of this? Less than 1% of the commercial airports have a sensory room. Think about that. We decided with Jeff, you and Tondra, your leadership, your input, and the spirit and the presence of Dylan at that sensory room, we're saying we're gonna make it special for everybody. And that's what this is about. We spent $6.4 million to make sure we have now a post-security sensory room. And you have to see the sensory room. Those folks with the cameras, I wanted to have the press conference there with the cool fish and the cool setups, but they're saying this is more studious and looks better. But let me tell you why that's really cool. First of all, when you see the fish tanks and you see the fish films, was Frank here? Frank Raddick, one of our employees, He went on his own course, went to Cayman Islands, I'm told, and went deep sea scuba diving at his cost, I think, and he filmed some of the fish underneath, and it's just a beautiful, captures the spirit and the wonderfulness and the quietness of that. So you do it with these people in mind. So I'm going to get off this agenda for a minute. I'm going to ask the Commissioner Bowledge to come up and personalize it. And Commissioner, just talk about the experience that you have with somebody you know with autism who had an experience and went through the process. Commissioner Bowledge.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman O'Toole and Vice Chairman Linford and Ms. Linford. Tandra, it's good to be with you. When I joined the Port Authority and they were talking about this, I think this is absolutely terrific, and it caters to a population that is so often underlooked and underserved, and it's great to be a part of this effort, and especially having it in my city. And I got to say, you know, a woman at the League of Municipalities, her name is Lori. She travels with her autistic brother. And when I first told her about what we were doing at Terminal A, she said, you know, that'd be a great opportunity, but when I walk into the terminal, I didn't know where to go or who to see and how to get a lanyard. So I made some phone calls when she traveled just a couple of days ago, and I asked her and the staff here to help and make this educational. And she sent me a note. Thank you. It went very well. The staff was outstanding. Danny, Bertha, Winifred, and Taylor were extremely helpful. And most important, she said, another side to this story is a woman came in with special needs and with a young adult looking for the lanyards. And because no one knew at the time what she was talking about, and it was the first time she was making the trip, just the two of them, the staff immediately assisted her and helped them through security, and she was extremely appreciative. That's why we're here, and I thank you and the chairman for your leadership.
Thank you, Commissioner. So again, it's with the special people. We do it for special moments. It's moments like this. When you go over to the other side, there's a miniature airplane. There's a setup with actual seats, and there's a cockpit there. There's a jump seat, and there's 3 rows of seats that are the exact size of an airplane. And these pieces were actually shipped in from Turkey, I believe. I don't know why we don't make them here, but they're shipped in from Turkey. And some of the children go in there and they sit in the seats so they're comfortable and they have a self-awareness and they feel comfortable before they go on the actual plane. Those are the details that really matter. Those are the people that we're really servicing. Ralph, why don't you come up here for a moment? I know you're not expecting this, but I want Ralph, who headed up this project. Ralph, just give us a broad view of the 9-month project, what it entailed, how you pulled it together, and what it means to the Port Authority family and the folks we serve.
Well, it was something that was really close to my heart. It was difficult while the terminal was operational. It was one of the things that made it a little more difficult and challenging, but we found a way with the contractors that support us. Conti was the contractor that helped us here, and we worked with Munich and all the operational folks, and we did it in a way that minimized the impacts to patrons as much as possible, got the work done, and as the chairman pointed out, a lot of the details were coming from different areas, different countries, and that was always very challenging with respect to the supply chain. But with everyone's hard work and team effort, we got it done.
Right. Thank you, Ralph. So before I surrender the microphone, a special round of applause to all the Port Authority family members who took part in this. Thank you. Job well done, folks.
All right, it's my pleasure now to welcome to the podium the Vice Chairman of the Port Authority's Board of Commissioners, Jeffrey Linford.
I have just a few words. I want to thank our chairman and Commissioner Bowledge, Aidan O'Donnell, who introduced me. Sarah McKeon is not here. Is Jacqueline Grossgold here? Raise your hand. Very good. And thank you very much. All the commissioners are very proud that we are a leader in sensory rooms. JFK, LaGuardia, as well as Newark, each have and will have more of these rooms. We have an autistic daughter, as you heard, Dylan, and so we're very, very proud that we can be part of this. But I want to let you know, since this is the lanyard that everybody talks about, and I've given one to every commissioner, and when you see this and these sunflowers, you know there's a special needs reason behind it. And my contribution, I think, at Terminal 4 at Kennedy, when it's put in, is you've heard of the yellow brick road in the movie? Well, I said that because the signage is there's so much signage at an airport, we should have walkways with sunflowers so the children or even the adults can follow the yellow lanyard sunflowers to the sensory room. And with that, I'll say thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Next, I'd like to welcome Tondra Linford, the Chair for Anderson Center International.
Well, it's very, very thrilling for me to be here because since she was a very, very little girl, I have been working in so many ways to advocate for autism. When she was very small, most people didn't even know what the word meant. If you said you had a child with autistic tendencies, they thought you were saying artistic, and gave a big smile and a round of applause. Things have changed a lot, and we're now very aware of the numbers. But try to imagine, we're all very anxious at airports, and we are all extremely nervous by the noises, the sounds, the hustle, the bustle, the babies crying, so many things happening. But if you are neurologically so fine-tuned that those noises become like screams and screeches, it's almost impossible to endure something like an airport. And with the arrival of the sensory room, that has changed. Just 2 weeks ago, I went on a trip with my daughter, just the two of us, which was something right there, and we came through Newark, and it was an extraordinary experience. And one of the things I didn't even expect was that she actually said to me, wearing her lanyard, "You know, people are really nice here. I have a lot of friends here." And it just set the pace for the trip. And we all want to go to places where you can feel the sand on your feet, smell the air in the mountains differently, and visit cultures and people who are different but very kind and very good. So it means the world for families who have children with these conditions. And I thank you all, every one of you, so much for what you have done for this population. Thank you.
Okay, next, please join me in welcoming Eliza Bozensky, the Chief Development Officer for Anderson Center for Autism.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. I will be brief, which is not my strong suit, but I will give it a shot. I'm Eliza. I'm from Anderson Center for Autism and Anderson Foundation for Autism. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I want to thank everybody from the Port Authority. I want to thank Jeff and Tondra Linford, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years, and everybody else from Terminal A, from this whole project, everyone in the room, all the supporters. I want to give a little bit of detail here. 1 in 36 children in this country are diagnosed on the autism spectrum as of today. That's the CDC study. That means if you do your math, which I'm not going to do, times it by 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, there's a tremendous number of people, not just those who have autism, but their caregivers, their siblings, their grandparents, their friends, anybody who might be wanting to travel with them through hubs like Newark Airport every day. That's the number of people that when you do something like this, you are changing their lives. You're giving them an opportunity to leave their homes where they often feel very isolated and sort of the safest space they can stay in for a number of reasons. But you're giving them the opportunity to do what Tondra was just talking about. It is life-changing. for so many people. And I hear these stories all the time because I work at Anderson and I interact with a large number of families who talk about these types of experiences, and they often talk about the horrible ones where they turn around and leave an airport or a train station or a restaurant because it's uncomfortable, it's scary, they can't handle it, they don't know how to get help. So what you've done here, especially through the pre-security and post-security rooms, is you're taking care of a huge number of people through the entire journey. And I just think that's just, I hope that you recognize how huge an impact you're making. Also want to just add a little piece about the mock air, the airplane that's in the sensory space that you'll all see in a few minutes. It's not just sort of seats and kind of a space that looks like an airplane. I walked in there a few minutes ago. It has the lights. It has the overhead compartments. When you walk in, it feels exactly like you're entering a plane. And for people with autism, children or adults, and their caregivers, the idea that you're going to be able to walk in and sit down and touch things, and then you're going to get on the actual plane, you're going to see those same things. It is the type of thinking behind those decisions that is instrumental and integral to continuing this movement. So I've gone on too long. Thank you so, so much, and thank you for having us.
So I want to conclude this morning by thanking our guests and our speakers, our leadership, for sharing stories that are personal to them. It really does put that human element to what we do, to why we do it. It means a lot to the staff. The leadership trickles all the way down. We're all very proud to be part of this effort and continuing to look to push the envelope in terms of what's next to take advantage of populations that for too long have gone kind of overlooked and unconsidered. So it's really great to be a part of that. We're going to conclude now. We're going to move everybody over to the sensory room that we've talked so much about. We're going to do press Q&A in the sensory room. So for that, again, I do really appreciate everybody coming out. Please bear with us while we change venues. Thank you so much.